Another story that might have slipped through the cracks a little bit this week. Someone else is joining the Trump administration. Dina Powell will take on a senior role that will focus on entrepreneurship, and I'm reading the announcement now, economic growth, and the empowerment of women, according to people familiar with the matter, and that was reported in Politico. Now, what is the most salient fact from our point of view about Dina Powell, who will be helping to empower women, we're told, in the Trump administration? It is this: she is a partner with Goldman Sachs. That means that Trump now has a number of Goldman Sachs people around him. He has Steve Bannon, who is his political advisor. He has, I believe, Mnuchin. He has a number of these Goldman Sachs folks around him. Even though he ran by demonizing Goldman Sachs and by tying Goldman Sachs to both Hillary Clinton in the general and Ted Cruz in the primary election, because Ted Cruz was married to a Goldman Sachs person. Now, what's the lesson of all of this? Well, lesson number one, of course, is that the Trump voters got duped, that this guy is more than any other president in history, perhaps, the most Wall Street, the most corporate, the most big money, the most Gilded Age president in modern American history. But lesson number two, and let us not lose sight of the fact, lesson number two is that the Democrats got way too close to Wall Street firms like Goldman Sachs themselves. A lot of Democrats are outraged about whether it's the DNC emails or whatever. Everybody knew before there was an email leak that Hillary Clinton gave speeches for what amounted to millions of dollars at $245,000 a pop for Goldman Sachs and other organizations. Here's something else that some people knew, some people didn't, but I think a lot of voters sensed, which is the Goldman Sachs Empowerment of Women initiative was featured prominently over and over again at Clinton Foundation events. Now, it's great to empower women at home and abroad. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're all for that. But when charitable moves are used as a form of cheap grace for a law-breaking organization that has destroyed the American, or nearly destroyed the American economy, and that is corrupting the political process with its money, when Democrats allow that to happen and participate in that happening, they should not be surprised if they lose elections and wind up turning the government over to people who are more corrupt than they are. What we need is a Democratic Party or some organization that stands foursquare for integrity and against the corrupting influence of organizations like Goldman Sachs. Because, if we don't, Democrats are going to lose. And who's going to win at the end of the day? Exactly. Goldman Sachs.